Welcome back to the Gotcha podcast. It's been a minute. We've been busy. We haven't done a podcast since I think August. Yeah. So we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to just kind of let it flow. We're going to talk about seasons this year, things we did, things we're looking forward to, kind of some of the reasons why we haven't done any podcasts or much of anything on the channel, that is, and just kind of get into it. What's new with you? We didn't hunt much together this year. I think we did our subscriber hunt, and then a couple days after that,
Nate, and then we did I met you guys up there for rifle season.
Yeah, and now I was hunting with Blake, so
yeah, we've been taking a lot of different people and going a lot of different directions,
which was a new thing for us.
Yeah,
did a lot of that this year. Yep. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Usually we're just in a pod cruising around, doing our thing. Whack 'em and stack 'em. But yeah, this year was kind of crazy all over. And then you ended up hunting out of state, taking Vince with you for that elk hunt. And then I didn't have in my schedule time to do like a full on out of state hunt. We had a family vacation instead. So I ended up just doing a bison hunt, And so
you filmed that right?
Yeah. That's short little film. It'll be fun though. It's a harvest, bison harvest. Really, it's not a hunt. I mean,
but like if you look at it from the perspective of just going and getting your own meat, it's super cost effective.
Yeah,
to break it down price per pound.
Yeah,
and you can't ask for better meat.
No, and it's good. It's a lot more like beef, So it's you can use it for a lot of different things. You can even use the steaks and everything like you would cook a beef steak.
Have you had much of the meat?
Yeah, well, that's like all we eat right now.
Yeah. Is it more lean than beef?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the thing had a ton of fat on it. I mean, no doubt about it. It was like a late fall bear, like pretty fatty.
Wow.
But it wasn't quite as much fat as like when you cut up a beef, So it was, and the intramuscular fat is really the big deal. It doesn't have nearly as much intramuscular fat as a beef does.
More than a deer?
Yeah, way more than a deer, but like half as much as a beef.
Okay.
So, but it's really good. Like you can cook the steaks. Like I got like the ribeye roast cuts, and you just slice them up just like regular ribeyes and cook them in there. It's delicious. So, yeah, well, it's not a bad deal.
You know how to get a hold of me for those old ribeye roasts.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, one thing we wanted to talk about, one of the biggest detractors from our time on producing content for the channel has been Offy. Mm-hmm. We kind of teased it for like 2 years. Because this has been, you wouldn't think by looking at the product because it's such a small thing, but it's been a 2-year project.
Yeah. Anytime you design something from the ground, it's a hassle.
We took the idea and built it from the ground up. We didn't take another product and like tweak a few things. Then, here you go. We literally built it from the ground up. Mm-hmm. And it came from, so I have a spotter. You don't have a spotter. You prefer like big binos. I prefer a spotter. But as you know, if you've ever used a spotting scope, like you're just squinting with one eye. And I've seen guys like put their hat over one eye or put their hand over. It's miserable. Uncle Randy Newberg talks about it in one of his videos because I think he was antelope hunting. And he was behind the spotter for hours. And he was just talking about how miserable it was, how his face muscles hurt, his eyes were blurry.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal after a while.
It is. And what I would do is I would go to Walmart and I would buy those little medical eye patches. And
you're giving away the competition.
But the problem with those, they worked for about an hour.
Yeah.
And they would just fall apart because they're made of basically cardboard.
Anytime you're on a hunt, you're dirt and elements, and then you stick in your pocket. If there's any moisture, it just falls apart. Those things are trash.
The foam ring would always fall off because it's just basically like a cardboard inside.
So if you're not familiar with Offy, it's an eye patch.
There you go. Yeah, talk about
for glassing. So when you sit down and you glass, you're looking through this eye and you squint in this one and your whole face is all jacked up. Well, you put an eye patch on that eye, then you can keep both eyes open just like you're looking through, binoculars, and it's just all dark in this one. It's great. Mm-hmm. It relaxes your face. It makes glassing so much nicer. It's a really simple product. It's not like some, thing, but we designed it to be tough in the field and have longevity and be comfortable to wear. And as good looking as an eye patch can possibly be, for a universal fit. We wanted to make sure it fit both eyes. So
it literally designed every single millimeter of that thing,
Yeah.
top to bottom, for specific uses. We went through a bunch of iterations. We worked with an engineer. This was our first go around with ever producing any sort of anything from scratch. So it was a learning curve. And I think it's one of those products that doesn't lend itself to a good first impression. Let's just be honest.
Well, okay, here's the deal. This isn't all you sissy girl hunters that are really concerned about, not girls. The girls probably don't mind.
Metaphorical girls.
All you sissy boy hunters that are real concerned about what you look like in the field, and you don't want to have an eye patch on your face because you're, I don't know, you think you're better looking than that or something. Don't go ahead and don't buy it, okay? But anyone who's just concerned about putting more animals on the ground, being able to glass longer, keep your face in the glass and not get your face fatigued. I mean, it's a perfect product for that. It's designed for a purpose. It's not for the runway. You know, it's made so that
it's a functional item.
Yeah, it's made to help you in the field do what you need to do.
Yeah, there's countless times I could sit here for an hour and tell you time after time after time that I've been able to spot things with my spotter that we could not see in binoculars. Last year, we were sitting and glassing a basin, and we could not physically get any closer in terms of a glassing vantage. It wasn't possible. So I had to sit there and glass, I was maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles away, something.
Yeah.
And we watched several bucks pop out of the brush. We put a stock on. It was awesome because I was able to sit there for hours behind a spotting scope, strictly a spotting scope.
Yep.
And having a cover for my off eye, hence the name, allows me to do that. I can't squint one eye shut for hours on end.
Yeah, it's miserable.
It's
I mean,
miserable.
you can, but your whole face is going to be numb by the time you're done.
And that eye goes blurry
Yeah.
for some reason. At least mine does.
Yeah,
when you
mine
close
does
it
too.
for that
Yeah.
long. So we came up with the solution. So shameless plug. It's on our website, katchaoutdoors.com/off-eye.
A few different colors. The straps are really comfortable. They're not like those real thin, whatever. It can go over like hoodies and stuff or thick winter headwear. Or you can just wear it regular to your head like we do during the summer. It's a super versatile product. I mean, it fits pretty much. Haven't met anyone that it doesn't fit yet. So
yeah, we designed the foam to be a depth that would be universal. So if you have like a deeper nose to cheek ratio or whatever, it'll make up the difference. It's no problem. So check it out. It's on the website. We have 3 different strap colors, like Ben said, or 4. We have 4 different.
go
And
buy about 10 or 11 of them.
they're only $25. It's not an expensive item. It's a great pre-Christmas stocking stuffer. If you care about the hunter in your life, get him an Offy.
Yeah.
There's our shameless plug. But yeah, we were trying to get it out there prior to the start of archery season, before all the hunting season started. And we just had a few delays with production and design. We really wanted to get it right before we pushed it out. So it wound up being...
Also, if you guys have any ideas, so we've got a great product. It's got a great use case. If you got any ideas for marketing,
There you go. Yeah, we're not marketing geniuses at all.
So that's going to be the sticking point for us, is trying to market it to get it out to everyone. So if you've got any ideas for that, let us know. If there's anything you think of or you have a connection in that world, let us know.
Yeah, we're open to it.
Yeah.
We're not like we said, we're beginners at this, putting products out. Speaking of products, we can't go into detail, but there's something really, really cool in the pipeline in terms of products that we're kind of fast tracking. We're working with somebody on it. A lot's to be revealed, hopefully around, I would say January, maybe, if we're
Hopefully we're
January.
fast.
Yeah. We're working hard on it. We were just working this morning on it, actually. So super exciting stuff. You'll want to stay in tune for that. I wish we could tell you more, but
It involves killing animals. We'll say that.
it is a hunting related product. Yeah, we're going to knit sweaters for next season. That's what it is. So let's get into this season. This was a really cool season. It was unique. Like we said, we didn't hunt together a whole lot, which was kind of new for us. Usually we're teaming up on a lot of stuff. But for different reasons, we had to go our separate ways. We had different hunts planned.
Well, I mean, we did overall, like as a group, between you and me and John, it's kind of like our core group that we're always hunting. Mm-hmm. We did pretty well this year.
As far as killing animals?
Yeah, and,
we really did.
People that we took and put on. I mean, we knocked down quite a few this year.
One of the observations I had is, as you mature as a hunter, as you harvest more animals, that little dinky forky buck is not quite as exciting.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're chasing, you have to have a huge buck or anything, but it's like you've been down that road and you understand that that buck is more dumb.
Yeah.
And so it's not as much of a challenge. And a
Right.
lot of hunting is the challenge of it. The
As
challenge.
I shot a dinky forky this year.
So did I. I think the smallest buck I've ever shot, I shot this year because I wanted the meat in the freezer.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's one of the main reasons I do it.
Yep.
But my point in saying that was I had so much fun taking new people out that had never killed big game before.
Right.
And helping them and watching them do it. That was extremely rewarding.
Yeah, that's like a next level of exciting.
It really was.
Yeah.
I've never really done that until this year. This was new. And we played as guides. We're not guides at all. We're not licensed or anything. But I guess you could say acted as guides where we...
Legally, no, we did not act as guides.
How else would you say
we
that? We
took
helped.
people hunting with us.
Yes.
And helped them find animals.
There we go. Yeah. We're not guides.
We were also hunting.
Yes.
The entire time. We just allowed them to take shots that we weren't going to take.
Yeah, we didn't do all the work for them or anything. But that was our subscriber hunt. And I think the video is done. The video from that hunt is done. It won't launch until just prior to like spring bear seasons.
Yeah.
And it'll kick off we're going to do this again. It'll kick off our next bear hunting contest. In my opinion, I think it's my favorite top 2 maybe or 3 videos we've ever done.
Oh, it's awesome. The video is going to be awesome. You guys are going to love it.
It's so fun.
And also, if you're out there and you haven't killed a bear, or if you're out there and you haven't killed a bear with archery equipment, Nate, our subscriber that won this hunt from the last year, from this year, whatever, he had never killed a big game animal
Ever.
or used a bow to kill anything. He bought his bow, 2 months before
He
the
bought
hunt.
it. He bought it right after he found out he won,
Right.
which was what,
So,
May?
yeah, you guys don't, I mean, like, this bear he killed, a little spoiler, it was 16 yards away. We called it in for him, 16 yards. So, like, if you can get a bow and start practicing and get in the entry for next year, I mean, if you haven't killed an archer, and if you're a hunter and you already shoot archery, whatever, and you just haven't killed an archery bear, get in on this because it's an opportunity. I'm not going to say it's 100% thing, but it's a pretty good chance you're going to get a shot at a bear.
And we decided after this hunt, because prior to the contest starting, it was going to be an either or. It was either we were going to prefer archery, but we could go rifle if they didn't have a bow. This year, it's archery, and this is how it'll be. It's our preferred method. The bears are a lot less on edge. That's another thing I want to talk about is the hunting pressure this year was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bears are a lot more relaxed in their organic environment.
Not as many people out in the woods. Yeah. And I think fawning season has a lot to do with it too.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Because it was early. If you don't know this and you're out trying to chase bears, the earlier in the season, the better, because the fawns are still small. And if you're calling them, we call them. We used fawn calls to call them, and they respond super well. I mean, that's kind of a learning curve we've had over the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, is that we kind of fell into that by accident.
Yeah.
At one point, we're like, well, we saw a bear, and you know, if you've ever seen bears, they're super transient. They're just like
There's always
all
moving.
over the place.
Yeah.
And especially, I don't know, our bears. Some bears, I guess these guys can pin them down and like, oh, he's gonna be there next week or something. I don't know. Ours don't do that.
Seems like spring bear is more like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done spring bear hunting, but our hunting, the bears just, you'll see them there and you'll never see them again. It's like pigs. So anyway, we saw a bear and we're like, let's try calling it. So we had a predator call. We called it. It was a fawn call. And the thing like came in on a string. And we were like, oh, I guess that's a thing. And so since then, that was what, 7, 8 years ago? It's been a long time.
It's been a while, yeah.
Since then, we've started like, hey, let's try to call these ones. Or anytime we've seen a bear for the next few years, whenever we saw them, we were out hunting, we'd call them and they'd come to us and we'd shoot them.
Every time.
Every time. And so like if you can see a bear and you call at it, there's like a 90% chance it's coming in. So then we're like in the fall. Then we're like, well, let's just start calling them when we can't see them. And like coyotes, you know, and turns out that works too. So, you know, it's been something that we've learned over time and kind of made our own. I don't know of anyone else really out there. I mean, sure, there's guys that do. Comment if you do call bears. But it's not very common because we only killed 700 bears this year in the state, and there's 80,000 of them. So,
It's crazy.
Or somewhere around there.
It's crazy.
60 to 80, something like tons.
In 3 days hunting with Nate, I'm doing a rough tally in my head. I think it was about 10 bears that we called
something
in.
Like that.
8, 9, 10, somewhere around 10 bears that we called in 3 days. And you're probably wondering, why didn't we kill one sooner? It's a wild animal, so there's a lot of variables. They're always checking the wind. One of them was a sow with a cub, came into 23 yards or something.
Yeah.
Got some awesome footage.
We had several inside of 30 yards.
Several,
but,
yeah.
Either there was no shot angle, the wind was bad, and they smelled us and blew out, or, just wasn't a shot. That Nate was a brand new archery hunter. Mm-hmm. So we had to be cognizant of that and try to get him.
We wanted the best shot possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
A cool thing you'll see on the video when it drops is Nate and I did a still hunt. So we were walking real slow and got to experience close to half an hour with 3 bucks. 2 of them are two of the biggest bucks I've ever seen on public land. It full velvet. One was I think it was a 5x4 or a 4x4. The other was a 4x4 with like 3 or 4 inch cheaters, symmetrical cheaters on each side. It was just really cool bucks. They were just outside his range, so I wouldn't let him take a shot. We didn't want to risk that. And we were just hanging out, waiting for them to come closer, and they finally, how the bucks are. They sensed us and took off. But for like half an hour, we stood there, watched these bucks feed, and it was so cool. It was so cool.
That's not an experience you get a lot on California public land.
He had never had anything like that. Yeah. It was really cool this year, seeing that stuff. First of all, that's always fun. But then seeing someone for the first time see that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I took a buddy of mine, Blake, young guy, 19 years old. He's hunted before. He's killed one doe. He killed it in Wyoming on like a family hunt. And it was on some private land on a farm. So he'd never experienced like backcountry hunting. And got him his first bear, called it in. And he shot a buck. We lost it. It was a bummer deal.
Gary.
Yeah, gut shot Gary, I called him. He shot too far back, and we trailed that thing for hours, and the blood trail just disappeared completely. Super disappointing. But
hunting.
That is hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of your personal takeaways from this season? Like your experiences, like lessons learned or whatever?
Quit working so that I can hunt more. This is a good idea. That's really the crippler when you're just like a normal guy and you work a job and you're trying to, run a company and
especially being self-employed.
Yeah, it's hard, man, to try to, anybody who is just normal people, part of the workforce, it's hard to break away and take the time. And especially we're trying to, hunt more and get more content to the viewers, so we want to be out in the field more than your average hunter to provide, more content. And so it's always a struggle. But now I don't, I was really happy this year. I took a lot away from the subscriber bear hunt. We had a blast, and it was really fun getting someone else an animal. And then I went up and shot a small buck. It was first day. Was that opening day?
Opening day. Yeah.
Opening day of rifle season. And I mean, I've killed big bucks and everything, right? But I was side hilling down some steep country, and there was like 3 little bucks that stood up, and I just was like, well, there's a buck, and here's me, and I'm just gonna shoot him real quick. It was like 70 yards, smoked him, fell down the hill, and I was happy as a clam. Like, obviously I wasn't in it for the trophy. Like it was, a harvest, and it was an opportunity there. It was public land. I was thrilled. So, it depends on your year, really. Like some years I may just be holding out for a big buck, just how it depends on how I feel or how much meat's in the freezer or the opportunities I know I have coming up for the year.
But like opening weekend, you only had 2 days to try to get it done?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
So you kind of had to take what opportunities you could get?
Yeah. I was pretty jammed at work. So I was like, the sooner I can get home, the better. And there was this God that provided this little buck standing there. And I was like, okay, buddy, you're going home with me. But the funny thing was when I was gutting that deer, not gutting him, but quartering him up and everything, a bear walked through it like 50 yards. And by the time I got all like set up and I set the camera up and everything and tried calling him, that's the only time I've ever called a bear where it was that close. I mean, he was going away from me in probably 100, 150 yards by the time I started calling, but just never showed back up.
I wonder if he caught your wind or something.
Maybe. I don't know what happened, but oh, you know what it was? I walked across that canyon and came back.
He cut your scent?
Yeah, I bet he did. I just realized that. I bet he cut my scent when he was going down there, and then he was like, "No, bye.
I'm out." Yeah.
And when I
They're
called, I just gave him an
sensitive
education.
to
Yeah,
scent, just super sensitive.
yeah. No, this year was fun though, and honestly, it was just pretty mellow for me. You know, I wish I would have had more time to hunt, but other than that, it was a great year.
Yeah, it really was a lot of fun. I had that out-of-state elk hunt. It was in Oregon, which I've never hunted in Oregon before. But I went to a spot where I have family, and so I had some intel from my family. There was a bit of a disconnect with the intel because it was all late season intel, and I was there beginning of September. Maybe I forgot the date I got there, but I was there like the 5th day of season when it started, so wasn't even full rut yet.
Pre-rut, yeah.
Yeah, pre-rut. So a lot of the season, a lot of the information I had, like I said, was for late season, for lower country, and then specific spots where they said, "Hey, check this out." I went over there, no fresh sign, nothing. Like they were not there. But I did. The first morning we were there, we went up high. Me and Vince, Vince's camera guy, took him along, and I had the coolest elk hunting experience I've ever had. And I don't get buck fever. Like I just don't. But I was shaking.
Bulls are something else though.
Man, I was still clear-headed, but my leg was shaking like I had Parkinson's, man.
It's the best.
It was. I told Vince, I was like, "Dude, look at this. Look at my leg." And it was just like just shaking. It was crazy. But this bull was one of the biggest bulls I've ever seen. Just huge bull. And I dogged that bull for hours and hours, probably 4 hours. And I think 1.5 miles, 2 miles, I would bugle at him and he would chuckle back and move off. So I'd move in, bugle at him, he'd chuckle, he'd move off. It was over and over and over. Finally got close enough to where he got mad, and then it was on. But I'll let you see the video and see what happened. But it was
He was like, "I don't have any cows either. Quit chasing me."
It's pretty much what it was. But I think I fast-tracked my elk hunting knowledge with that hunt a ton. And I learned that I need to learn how to chuckle. I suck at chuckling.
Yeah.
Chuckling is kind of hard.
Yeah,
with a bugle.
it's a challenging part of one of the more challenging parts of elk calling, I think.
I did trick a Doug Flutie, though.
Nice. That's a good benchmark anyway.
There were some guys there was a side-by-side parked at the same trailhead. Only one, so it had to be them, from Idaho. Like, I don't know why you'd come from Idaho to hunt elk in Oregon, but whatever. They probably know more than I do. But yeah, it was fun. Got them fired up, and they were cow calling and bugling back. And I was like, yeah, this is fun.
When did they ever figure out you weren't?
I just left.
Oh, nice.
I gave them
Just
the old
ghosted
scream,
them.
growl, call, and I think they got wise to it after that. But it was fun. Another thing that kind of stuck out to me this year was I made some changes with my gear. I got a new pack. I really love the pack. I'll talk more about that on like a video. I think we'll do a gear breakdown.
Yeah.
But I changed my simple thing, but my water. So I always had the water bladder. I kind of hated it. It was like a love-hate relationship. You got to have the water, obviously, but it tastes terrible in those plastic bags, right? I got inspired by Gritty. I watched him with his little, what is it? I forget, MSR or something. I forget the brand. It's an insulated water jug, 32 ounce. And I would fill it up in the morning, and I'd go to have lunch at midday. It's hot, and I had cold water. It was like, oh, that's a game changer. So that changed my whole perspective.
And that thing's pretty lightweight too, huh?
Super
for
light.
being insulated. Yeah.
I mean, not as light as a bladder, but worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, that's the name of the game with like backpack hunting, or just even if you're just like hunting from base camp and you're doing a lot of hiking. It's like figuring out where those sacrifices make sense on the weight. Some things are worth the extra weight, like that insulated cup, or water bottle.
Yeah, like I said, I think we'll do a gear breakdown video. That's more like video stuff versus conversation.
Yeah,
and we'll get into it, show you the products. But Another thing that was crazy this year was pressure. So I did a late season hunt. I think it was like the second to last weekend of season. A guy came in, a mutual acquaintance flew in from Texas. First ever big game hunt in the West.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You did that too.
Yeah, we did. What did we do? 3 or 4 days? I don't remember. We struck out hard. It was rough.
That was like mid-late season, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough hunt.
But there was one spot it's like a chess game when you're hunting,
If you guys don't know, in California, especially Northern California where we hunt, late season, like most places you think of deer, you think of late season, you think game on. California, the end of our season is like
game off.
Right before the rut starts. So it's like most places, at least, on the west side of the state. East side of the state goes a little longer, huh? It goes.
Yeah, some areas get into November.
Yeah, but even then, even then in the Sierras and places where you can, in Northern California, now Southern California, seasons are different, ruts are different, but we hunt NorCal. And, most of the state, either the rut is just getting ready to start when season ends or it hasn't started yet. So mid to late season is a really tough time to make it happen because deer are starting to move around different places. And they're not on their normal patterns.
They become magicians at hiding.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, all the hunting pressure. California gets a ton of hunting pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's tough. It becomes really tough.
That's the downside of opportunity zones is the pressure.
Which is the entire state almost.
Yeah.
We got like a few good draw zones that take 20 years and everything else is an opportunity, and it's like, okay.
That's the dark side of that.
Yeah.
And we don't do a lot of late season hunting kind of for that reason. We always have early season success. But doing this hunt, there was one scenario. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's crazy. So we were up on this knoll. We had seen deer on this knoll. We saw a lot of sign. So we decided to do like a stakeout. The wind was good. We had seen evening activity going up and down. So we got a good vantage point, kind of looking down the draw across the valley. Well, way down, maybe a mile away, there was a road way down there. And these guys rolled up, probably 8 or 10 guys. They set up one of those pop-up canopy tents, and they were target practicing for like 3 hours. And we're like we're close to some remote areas. Like we're way up there. It's the deer hunting spot. Like rapid fire pistols.
People have got to know.
Long range rifles. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That either they're just completely clueless or they're just absolute jerks. There's no, Isn't that illegal?
I don't think it's illegal. I think it's unethical.
Somebody tell us if it's illegal. I don't know. I think there's laws against it during hunting season.
I wonder if it could be categorized as like hunter harassment.
I don't know, maybe. But that's pretty ridiculous either way. I mean, yeah, that's when it's time to pack it up and
that's
go
what we
to a different
did.
spot.
Like, what's the point of sitting here?
Yeah, no.
And like they're shooting in our direction. Like we're up higher, but you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, people are crazy.
Yeah, so it's just
especially people that are going to come out in force and target shoot during deer season in a deer hunting area.
Mm-hmm. And we saw them. They had quads down there. And then 30, 40 minutes later, we're headed back to the truck, or we're getting to the truck, and they're ripping down the road on quads. And
maybe they're PETA or something. PETA target practice day in the deer zone.
It was crazy. I had never seen anything like that.
Wow.
I talked to some old timers up there who had been hunting that area for a decade, and they said the same thing. They'd never seen so much pressure. So
yeah, we've been seeing guys. I don't know why, but people are coming from Oregon and Washington and Idaho and stuff. We're seeing all those different plates on our trailheads.
Yeah. We actually didn't do any wilderness hunting this year.
True.
We didn't do any backpack hunting. So that was pretty unique. Yeah, usually we're doing backcountry hunts.
Yeah, I just realized that. That's just the way everything worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, there was a lot of late season pressure, and kind of reinstilled the idea that I don't really enjoy late season hunting. I just don't. I just prefer early season, at least in California.
There's a bunch of reasons too, though, and I mean, I don't know. California is kind of a catch-22 because most places it's like, oh well, early season, the weather's nicer. And in California, that's also true, but it also can be really hot early season.
Really hot.
The later you get in season, our weather gets real inclement, and you just like never know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even in archery, like seems like every archery season lately we're getting thunderstormed on.
Yeah, we had another one this year, and then it got really cold randomly in August. That was bizarre.
Yeah.
And then by that afternoon, it was all hot again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it happens.
Muggy too. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm excited for next year.
Me too. Me too.
I don't know. This next subscriber bear hunt, I think, is going to be a blast.
Yeah, I really no promises, but we're going to work really hard at expanding the prize too. We had, super grateful for Mountain Ops, not Mountain Ops, Go Hunt and Mountain Tough. Thank you. Contributing to the prize this year, and hopefully they'll do it again, and hopefully we can get some more people on board.
Yeah,
make the prize even bigger. Of course, the hunt is the big prize.
Right.
Super cool experience. But yeah, we're gonna push it this year. It'll be an archery hunt. I think I liked the 4-day format. I think that was a good amount of time. It only took us 3 days this time. Probably could have done in 1 or 2, honestly.
Yeah. Yep. It's always conditional.
It is.
If everything would have worked out, for sure the second day, that big jet black could have smoked him.
Such a cool bear.
Yeah. Next year's going to be fun, though. It's going to be, we'll see. There's stuff that could happen that could make it really exciting for you guys. But I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about, something I've been thinking about a lot is the public land hunting versus private land hunting, and how different it feels. And I understand everyone can't hunt private land, and that's reasonable. That's just how it is. But private land hunting has a different feel. It's way more relaxed. Like I just feel less pressure and more comfortable and more like I'm just having fun. But the interesting thing is you also feel that way when you go hunting for someone else. So like if you're hunting for one of your buddies, or if like you're hunting for your subscriber, and in the case of us this last year, there's pressure for that to make it happen, but it's also just like you're having a good time, and you're just out there having fun. And that was one of the things that was really cool for me on that hunt, is not having to really kind of bear down and get crazy about, the stress of trying to make it happen. But on the other side of the coin, something I was getting at is that I don't know. I kind of want to do like a private land, like whitetail hunt or something next year.
That would be fun.
Just go to a ranch, not trying to shoot like a monster buck, but just to have a good time. Just like go and shoot a buck.
I might have a connection for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to follow up on it, because it would just be fun. It's fun when you can go and enjoy hunting and leave all the stress at home. You know what I mean?
Just pure fun.
Anyone who hunts public land probably knows. And then if you try to make a film during it, it's it's more difficult. But public land comes. You're always strategizing about where the deer are going to be, where the pressure is going to be, where they're going to move to, where's this, where what's going on, how much time you have. You got to get back to work. And it's like if you just had like a, okay, I'm going to such and such ranch for a 3-day hunt, and I know in that 3 days I'm going to kill a deer. I know what my accommodations are. You just go and you have fun. So there's something to be said for that. So, but that I understand that's not for everyone, and that I guess my eyes were open to that when I went and did that buffalo hunt, because that was really fun. Like
every type of hunt has its own personality.
Right.
Some are just straight up grinds.
Like, that's our usual.
Yeah. Like top of the list would be Alaska sheep hunting. It's just a grind. It's all you're doing is grinding until you get one.
Yep.
And not to say we use sheep hunting in California, that style, but it's a grind usually. It's hot. It's tons of hiking. It's just, we grind it out.
Backcountry blacktail in California is
tough
also
business.
a grind.
It is.
Yeah. And then throw archery into it, and then you're just thoroughly ground into a pulp.
We've actually rediscovered road hunting. which has been a lot of fun.
It's kind of funny.
It really, yeah.
You have to be in the right area.
You have to be in the right area, and you have to be tactical. It's not just road hunting for the sake of like just driving around. It's a lot more tactical than that. It's kind of incorporating some of the same skills you use in the backcountry. So it's a lot of fun. But when there's a lot of pressure in the backcountry, which we've seen a lot over the last few years, we've had a lot of success. I killed my first 4x4 blacktail this year, archery, seeing it from a road.
Yep.
You'll see it's on the video. It's coming out later in 2025. You'll see it. It was really cool. The best archery shot I've ever made in my life.
I think that there's something to be said for that in the fact that if you strategize properly, road hunting can be like super fruitful.
Mm-hmm,
and by that I mean that like if you said, if you just drive down the road and hope you're going to see a deer, you're probably not. But if you still e-scout an area, figure out where you think deer are going to be, and then drive that area, look for sign on the sides of the road. If you find deer, and something you can even do is if you drive through an area, don't be spotlighting, but if you're driving through an area at night going somewhere, I've found deer this way a lot of times, and you see bucks crossing the road. You're like, okay, bucks live right here. Like, mark the pin, come back during the day, and figure out what they're doing. And then you're literally road hunting and finding your deer. And one of the areas that we were road hunting is kind of like a big loop, and there's a mountain in the middle of it. And we were noticing that deer were crossing from this mountain to this valley to the other side of this other mountain where there's a road, and there's all roads in between. But we figured out, okay, well, their bedding area is on this mountain, and they're feeding between these roads in this area, and then they're going to this mountain for like a day bedding area, and they're just like back and forth. So now we've got like a triangulation, but it was all based around where these roads and accessibility
and that's where I shot my buck.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like, don't write road hunting off. I mean, it's not backcountry hunting. It's not.
It's a tool.
It's not. It's not nearly as exciting. And I get it. Different people have different goals. If your goal is to kill a monster buck in the backcountry, road hunting is obviously not for you. If your goal is to get a deer down and have fun, road hunting is an option.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not. I understand. Like, method is a thing for some people. Location is a thing. And I'm interested in all those things in different hunts. Like, sometimes I want to shoot something, whatever it is, with a bow. Like, that's all I care about is I want to kill it with a bow. Sometimes all I'm concerned about is the trophy itself. Like, that I want this particular animal in this age class. And then other times it's the experience. Like, I want high alpine hunt.
Yeah.
Whether I kill anything or not, that's the kind of hunt I want. And all those things are valid, and you don't have to be one way or another. Some guys get stuck on the big buck. It's all about the big buck. It's all about the big bull. It's not really. It's about what you think is your ideal hunt,
Yeah. It's your personal experience.
And if road hunting fits in a category for you, then, dude, get them.
Yep. That happened actually late season, that hunt I was telling you about. We were driving back to camp. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and 2 bucks crossed the road in front of us, a really nice 3x3 and a small forky. So the next day, we kind of did the calculations on what they were coming down to water, because there was no water up above. We took the roads up high, got out of the truck and hiked another mile and a half or so, and saw the most sign we had seen the entire trip up there. So we used that knowledge from driving. We weren't road hunting, obviously. It's 9 o'clock at night. Saw where the deer were coming from, took a lay of the land, boom. There's your sign. A lot of beds, a lot of sign. Didn't see any deer, but they had been there consistently, and using that knowledge to,
Yeah, if you guys had more time, you probably could have triangulated that eventually. And
I think that was the last evening we were there. We found that spot, so we had to leave the next day. Couldn't go back up there. But yeah, it can be a really useful tool if you use it as a tool and not just because you're lazy.
Yeah. Well, leave us a comment on this podcast. Tell us what you guys are doing next year for hunts. You can expect us to be in California killing stuff again. There's going to be another subscriber bear hunt unless the creek rises. And there may or may not be some out-of-state stuff, may or may not be an elk hunt. Who knows? But there's going to be California content. So hang tight for that. But what are you guys doing? What's your goal this year? Send us pins. Where are you hunting?
No, don't send us where you're hunting. Send us where you killed the buck last time.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah. We don't care where you're hunting this year, unless there's bucks there. Then give us an invite. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's interesting. I like seeing people's what people are up to. Sometimes you get, every once in a while, you get someone with a really interesting hunt coming up.
And I think one of the most rewarding things about having this channel is that feedback. We've gotten a lot of messages on Instagram, emails, whatever. Hey, took your guys' advice, got my first deer, got this buck up in the wilderness, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see that.
Yep.
So cool. Love that. Yeah, I think we may go to Sheep Show this year. See if we can get up there for Sheep Show and over in Reno. And there might be another show we're going to. And we'll have, if we do the second show, then we'll be actually maybe having some booth space, selling some merch, some eye patches, and more to come on that. We'll see. We hope to have some big news coming out in January, at the latest February. We'll let everybody know. Fingers crossed if everything goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year is going to be really fun, kind of building on this year's momentum. We'll have to get John on here because he had late season success.
Yeah. John smoked 2 bucks and a bear.
Yeah, he did.
He tagged out this year in California.
I got 2. I feel like I shot a bear.
Yeah.
Because I called
Me
in.
too. I feel the same way. I feel like I shot 6 bears this year.
But I didn't. I'm probably going to eat my bear tag because we were taking other people out.
We're part of the problem, bro.
I know, man. But yeah, I got 2 bucks this year. Didn't get a bear. I doubt I'll have time to get back out before end of December when it closes. But anyways, yeah, next year's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun stuff. So stay in tune. Please, we appreciate your support. I know we're doing the shameless plugs with the eye patch and stuff, but we believe in the product and we believe it'll benefit those that use it. We really do. We wouldn't have made it if we didn't. And we build things that we use. So we've used it for a couple of years now, but we kept it off camera because we were in the process of development. So we didn't show it in the videos, but we've been using this for a while. And as we would get the different iterations done, we would go field test it.
Yep.
We we put it through the wash machine. We drove over it with your truck.
Yeah.
Stepped on it. Pockets, glove boxes. We tried to beat the things up. They're durable. It is the perfect kind of low budget, but absolutely necessary tool, kind of gift you can get for the hunter in your life or yourself. Check it out, kachaoutdoors.com/Offy, and I'll put a link in the description.
Or if you just want to look like a pirate or something.
Yeah, if you just want to look cool. Like we're trendsetters over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for tuning in. Just kind of recapping how these seasons went. We're going to put out some videos about kind of breaking down the new gear we used this year, our thoughts on it, some of the stuff we hated that we'll never use again, some of the stuff that we love that we'll be using moving forward, and you'll see more of that content. Oh, another thing, leave a comment if you've made it this far on what kind of off-season content you'd like to see from us. Maybe you'll give us some ideas we haven't thought about. So maybe it's like training or fitness or fishing or scouting, whatever. We haven't done a tips video in a while. Maybe we'll do some of that. So yeah, leave us your thoughts. I want to know what you think. Any closing remarks?
No.
Yeah, next year will be fun. So, well, thanks for tuning in. We will see you on the next episode.